Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the little chicken the egg tutorial that I have. So in this video we are going to be making the outer edge, the crochet cover for the plastic egg, I should say. Couple things I want to talk about before we get started. Whenever you are working the egg cover, try not to work the stitches too tight. Keep a nice, even, consistent tension throughout, and then I show you in the video how we adjust the pattern accordingly, depending on your yarn, your hook, your tension, everything, all those different factors you may need to add or subtract around towards the end. No big deal. It's super easy to do, and then I show you actually I tell you in the tutorial, I forgot to show you, but like on this one, how we have the, sorry, I'm in and out of focus, how we have the different colored edge or border. All you have to do is that last round, instead of working it in the color that you are currently working, just fasten off, slip stitch into the first, chain one, cut, add your new color, single crochet around, slip stitch to fasten off, and work the same on the top and the bottom portion. And for the tie, so you can see here and here, this is actually the one that I found in an antique store and that gave me the idea how to make these. So for the tie, chain 35, pull up a loop, cut, weave in the ends through the top and the bottom of your egg, and then use that as your tie. I honestly like them better without the tie. So if you, like I said, if you prefer the tie, chain 35 and then just weave in your ends through the stitches and then use that as your tie. Let's see what else. So in the tutorial we start with the top portion. We work the top portion, then we work the bottom portion, glue it on the egg, and there we go. And if you guys can hear, somebody is mowing. Let's see. All right, so if your egg or your chick is just a tad bit too big for your eggs and you need to crochet the egg without the little plastic, all I want you to do is work the same pattern, the exact same pattern. I do work the stitches a tad bit tighter if I'm not putting it in a plastic egg, just so it keeps that shape. It obviously it is posable, so it's not going to stay exactly the shape of an egg. And then I stitch across the back, stitch it together, add my tie, and then put my egg or my little chick inside. He came out way too big. I can get him in the egg, but it is a super tight close, and I preferred it to not be so temperamental on trying to close it. I would rather a kid have this and just, close a normal Easter egg. So that's why I decided just to make this one without the plastic egg. And then I just tie. So when I tie this, I tie it like a shoe, but when I pull this tight, you see how it wants to turn the egg? So I just let the egg turn and then finish the bow. Really annoying someone decided to start mowing right now. Just like that. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to need, because I covered all of my notes. Let's talk about what you're going to need. So obviously you're going to need a little plastic egg. I shouldn't say little. These are actually the larger ones. These are, I got from Walmart. They are 2.17 inch Easter eggs. I got them for $1.98, so that's probably 2 something with tax. So you're going to need an egg. All right. And then, you know, your pair of scissors. I used a 4mm crochet hook. We need a needle to weave in our ends, and I recommend a sharper one just to get through the stitches of the single crochets. And then you're going to need a hot glue gun. So that is how we attach the cover to our plastic egg. And then the yarn. So I used Red Heart Super Saver, the one that we make in today's tutorial. Flip it over. In the color Minty. So I tried to stick with pastel Easter colors. Not a big deal if you don't want to. That's just what I tried to do. So this is the one we make in the tutorial. I use that little hair clip to hold my egg up. And then I really like these. These are variegated. So this is I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. I cannot remember the color exactly. Anyway, so I have that one, and then this is Red Heart Super Saver in a purple with this color as the border. And then this one is Red Heart Super Saver in Wildflower. It's a little bright for Easter, but I thought it was still really cute, so I decided to go with that. And I really liked the variegated yarns. So these aren't stripes. So variegated, what I mean is it's not a huge length of yarn before it changes colors. So a stripe yarn is a long length and then it'll change color. And then, you know, the variegated is a little more choppier. Okay, so that, let me make sure, is all you're going to need to make our little egg cover. So get your supplies together, get your colors picked out, and let's get started. All right, so to get started, let's get a slip knot on our hook, and as always, plenty of tail to weave in. And we're going to start with a chain of 2. So just 1 and 2. And into that first chain, we're going to work 6 single crochet. So I'm going to work 1, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop and mark it. Oop, dropped it with the stitch marker. So we don't lose track of our rounds. So there's 1. We need 5 more. All right, so back into that ring with, that's 2, 3, 4, work over your tail, there's 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that is the end of round 1. So to move on to round 2, we're going to increase into each single crochet round. So an increase is just 2 stitches into 1. And for this pattern, it's going to be single crochets. So an increase for this pattern is 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So we are going to increase into that very first single crochet. 1, 2, I'm going to stop and mark my first one. Right there. Okay, now 2 single into each single crochet all the way around. And we should have 12 single crochet at the end of round 2. 2 in that one. 2 left. 1 and 2, and then here's the last one. 1 and 2. All right, so it should have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All All right, so I'm going to pull up my loop right here, my working yarn, and I'm going to weave in this tail. So to weave in my tail, I am going to just get this on my needle. And you can see where my tail is coming out right there. See how it's coming out this direction? I'm going to continue the tail around the ring that we worked, right? So I'm going to go this way with my tail. So I'm going to just pick up a few stitches that I can get into. This is why I said we needed a sharp needle to weave in our ends. My neighbors must be packing a car or something. Okay, I'm gonna pull that tight, and I'm gonna go just a few more stitches here, and come on, there. Can you hear it? Sounds like they're thumping. And okay, so now I'm going to come back just to lock it down. So I'm going to skip a few strands where my yarn is coming, because I don't want to go right back in there, right? Or it's just going to undo everything I did. So if we skip a few strands and then come back this way, this just helps to lock it down. And then we're also going to be hot gluing this to an egg, so that's going to help keep that end from coming out. Okay, there we go. And like I said in the intro, you may not be hot gluing your egg if your little chick came out too big like mine did, and I had to make one with no egg because he was huge. Okay, so that was round 2. So to move on to round 3, we are going to increase into the very first single crochet. 1 and 2. Mark that first one. I'm going to pause my video. I feel like you guys are too far away from me, and I'm going to bring you in just a bit. Okay, that is better. All right, so we increase into the first, and then we are going to single crochet into the next. Increase into the next. Oop, I split that. Single crochet into the next. And we're going to repeat that around, okay? Increase. Single. Increase. Single. Increase. Single. Increase. Single into the very last. And we should have 18 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Good deal. All right. Let me mark off my rows. Okay, so for round 4, we're going to increase into the very first single crochet. So increase. Mark my first. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 2. 1 and 2. Increase into the next. single crochet into the next, into the next 2. 1 and 2. Increase, single into the next 2. All right, I'm going to let you guys repeat that around, and I'm going to get mine done off camera, and I will be right back. All right, I repeated that around, and we should have 24 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Good deal. So 24 single crochets for round 4. Something is off on my recording and my camera, and it's annoying me and I can't figure it out. Okay, so let's move on to round 5. Round 5, all we are going to do is work 1 single crochet all the way around. So single crochet in your first, mark it, and work 1 single into each single all the way around. So we're keeping our stitch count, so we should still have 24 single crochet. Okay? So I am going to let you guys work that around, and I will get mine done, and I will be right back. Okay, so I repeated that around, just 1 single crochet all the way around, and I still have my stitch count of 24. So for now, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. So now for round 6, we're going to work the exact same thing. Single crochet into the first, 1 single into each all the way around. So off camera, I want you to, off camera, I'm going to work 1 single crochet around for round 6, and then round 7, we're going to do the exact same thing again. Single crochet into your first, mark it with your stitch marker, single crochet around, okay? So I'm going to get my round 6 and 7 done off camera, and you guys go ahead and pause your video and get yours done, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so I am back, and I finished round 7, and I thought, you know what, I want to show you guys how to count your single crochet rows if you don't know how. It's not too hard once you get so many, but if you look at your middle, your little center right here, little button, and then you can see where round 2 comes out, never start counting right there. Always make sure that is pointing towards you and count away from you. That's kind of my little trick that I follow just to help me keep track of where I am, and to always make sure that the beginning of your row, you are not counting right there, right? Like you don't want to count to the beginning of your row. You want that away from you. So here is my round 1, and then I can take my crochet hook and set it on each row that I can see, right? So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I don't know if that's going to help anybody, but I thought I want to show you guys how I do that. And also, it's very interesting to see. So this yarn is Red Heart Super Saver Minty, and this egg is just a tad bit, I'd say greener than the yarn in real life. But on camera, this looks like it's baby blue, and it's really not. It's so close to the original color of the egg. Well, actually, you know what? The way that the color of the egg that you're seeing right now on camera is the same color as this yarn right in real life. It's really weird. Anyway, all right, let's move on to round 8. So round 8, we're going to increase again. So into that very first single crochet, we're going to work 2 singles. So we're increasing 1 and 2. Mark that first one. And we're going to single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And then repeat that again. Increase into the next. Single into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Increase. Single into the next 3. 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys finish yours, and I'm gonna get mine done off camera. I don't want to bore you guys making you watch me work this. So we increase, single into 3, increase, single into 3. Repeat that, and you should end with a single into the last 3 stitches. All right, I will get mine done, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and I have worked that around, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get my egg, and I'm going to put it on the top. And remember, you want to line up the top of your egg with your round 1 the best you can. Because like if you're measuring it and you're holding it like this, it's not going to come out right. You got to keep it right on the tip. Okay. So the next few rounds, all we are going to be doing is single crocheting around. Let me get one that you can see better. So we're just working our way to the end of the egg. Okay, so I have in my original pattern, we just finished round 8. So I have round 9, 10, 11, and 12. Depending on your tension, your hook, your yarn, all of these different factors, you may need to subtract a row from that, or you may need to add a round to that. Actually, this egg that I made off camera, I ended up having to add a round to it because the yarn is a little bit thinner than all of the rest of the yarn that I was using. So what I'm going to do for this tutorial, I'm going to work round 9, which, I mean, like I said, round 9, 10, 11, and 12. All it is a single crocheting round. And then I'm going to stop, and well, actually, no, I'm not going to stop. I know round 9 and 10, at least, are not going to get me to the tip of the top of my egg, right? But anyway, I want you to, off camera, and I'm sorry, I keep saying off camera, and that's not what I mean to say. I am going to, off camera, work 9 and 10, single crochet around 2 rounds. And I want you to do the same, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to test it on the top part of our egg, okay? And then we'll go from there. So work 2 rounds of single crochet, and then come back. Okay, so I just finished 9 and 10, and I'm going to make sure that round 1 is on the tip of my egg, and you can kind of feel it, and then I'm just going to gently lay it on there. I'm not going to stretch it because I don't want to stretch open my stitches. I want it to just nice and easy stay on there. And I can tell I got plenty of room, right? So I may be, oop, I didn't mean for that to happen. I may, 9 and 10, be able to get all of 12 rounds on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay right on camera with you guys so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to start round 11, which is just single crocheting around. Mark that first one. Okay, so I'm going to go a little faster. The main reason, I guess I'll say, that I'm staying on camera while I'm working this round of single crochet is because I just want you guys to understand how I've determined, oops, add a round or not, as I work each round. So I know round 11 that I'm doing right now, the single crochets, I know that's not going to get me to the edge of the top of my egg. So I'm going to go ahead and work another round of single crochet, which will be round 12. This is round 11. And I'll show you guys. Okay, there's round 11. Tip on the top and just lay it down. So I'm going to go another round. And whenever we work this, we don't want our single crochets to come past the tip, the edge of the top, right? Because if we do that, what's going to happen is the kids aren't going to be able to close that. All it's going to do is pinch the crochet in the egg, and we don't want that. So I'm going to go another round. Mark that. It must just be that stitch marker, but man, that thing is sharp and I keep poking myself with it. All right. Just single crochet. You still should have 30 singles. Oop. Almost there, almost there. All right, so there's round 12. Let's see if I need to add one or not. Line up my tip and bring it down. And I am going to call that perfect. Because I know I said don't stretch it because you don't want your stitches, but that is so close to being at the edge. I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a pull and it'll set right on there. So that way when the kids are playing with it, if I could even close it right, it'll lay on there just right. Okay, perfect. So there is our top. So like I said, depending where you're at, open that again, depending where you're at, you know, coming to the edge of your top, you may need to add another round. Or let's say you're past it, you know, just take one of those rounds out. And if it's still just a tad bit short, maybe, you know, line up your top and then see if you can, you know, just kind of give your stitches a bit of a tug and see where that gets you. And, you know, just kind of manipulate it as you go, you know, to make sure that's just right. Okay, so to end our top, I'm going to slip stitch into that very first single crochet, chain one, pull up a loop. Now here's the funny part. You don't have to weave in your end if you don't want to. I actually didn't on some of mine. All I did was actually I just brought it to the inside and I added my hot glue and then I glued my egg in there and then just cut what was left so you couldn't see it. It was my lazy way out, but set that to the side and we are going to start the bottom portion. So the bottom portion, actually, let me mark off my rows so I don't lose track of where I am. The bottom portion, round 1, 2, 3, is the exact same as the top, but I'm still going to do it with you guys. All right, get a slip knot on your hook. Plenty of tail. We're going to start with a chain of 2. 1 and 2. Now back into that first single crochet, we're going to work 6 singles, but I'm going to work 1, stop, and where'd it go? Mark my first single, Okay, now work my 5 others. So we have 1, 2, work over your tail when you can, 3, 4, 5, back in there for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pull that tail a little bit. All right, so that's the end of round. Oop, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump my camera. I went to scratch my face. All right, round 2, we're going to increase into each single. So we have 6, and at the end of round 2, we should have 12. So go into that first single with 2. Mark your first. All right, 2 single into the next, or increase, I should say. Increase into the next. Increase into the next. Into the next. And into the last one. And we should have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so round 3, we're going to increase into the very first single. Oh, actually, you know what? Put that stitch marker back. I'm going to weave in that end. Or let's weave in that end, I should say. All right, let me find my needle. Get the tail on my needle. Okay, so I can see that my yarn is coming from this direction. See it? Coming from there. So I'm going to continue it around to close up that center. So this is the chain that we skipped. Down here is our chain. So I'm going to come in there and then go through the legs of these singles. Ooh, that's not pretty. It's almost like it bunched up on me. There. Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right, now I'm going to come back, skip a few little strands, and I'm going to lock it down. That was really tight. Okay, snip. There we go. All right, now let's work round 3. Okay, we're going to increase into the first. 1 and 2. Mark my first one. Single crochet into the next. Increase into the next. Single into the next. Increase. Single. Increase. Single. Increase. Single. Increase. And then we're going to single crochet into the last single. And we should have 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I ran out of breath. All right, so we got 18. We're going to move on to round 4. Round 4, we're going to increase into our first. And then single crochet into the next 2. 1, 2. Increase. Single into the next 2. Increase. Single into 2. Increase. Single into 2. Right? My mind just kind of completely dropped everything. And I was like, wait a minute, did I increase? Yeah. So increase, 1, 2. Ooh. Increase. Single into 2. Increase into the next. And then we're going to single into the last 2. And we should have 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Perfect. All right, so that is round 4. So we're going to move on to round 5. In round 5, we're going to increase into our first. Mark your first one. And then we're going to single into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Increase. Single into the next 3. 2, 3. Increase. Single into 3. Increase. Single into 3. Increase. Single into the next 3. And then increase into your next. And we are going to single into our last 3. And we should have 30 single crochets. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yay! All right. So we are done increasing. Now what we're going to do is work single crochets, just like we did the top. Just work single crochets around and around until we come up to the tip of the bottom. So we don't want to go to this, like the little ridge that holds, what am I looking for? This little ridge right here. We don't want to cover that. We would just want to come to this edge. Right where I just put that little black line. That's where we want to work up to. If we cover this little lip right here, again, it's going to be to where the kids can't close it. Let me get that off there. Okay. So I have in my original pattern, I worked round 6, 7, 8, and 9. And it got to my little lip right there, or the edge. That may not be the case for this. You know, the yarn's different. It's a different day, so my tension might be different. So I'm going to work. I'm going to go ahead and just stay on camera with you guys. Mark my first one. I'm going to work 2 rounds and then see what we got. And actually, I'm not going to stay on camera. You guys don't want to watch me single crochet 2 rounds. I'll get these rounds done and we'll test it and see what we got. All right, I'm going to get my 2 rounds done and I will be right back. All right, I'm back and I worked 2 rounds and just lining up the tip of my egg with the round 1. Ooh, I bet 1 more round. Well, maybe, I don't know. 1 or 2, I don't know. I'm going to work 1 round and I'm going to stay on here with you guys to show you again. While I work this round, I wanted to tell you guys, if you notice like little red dots all over my fingers while I've been doing this tutorial, and even the little chick tutorial, I have been off camera, I like to say busting my fingers, crocheting my little heart out to try to get my Finish It Friday project done, which is the Lord's Prayer portion of this large, I don't know if you would call it a tapestry, I don't know. Anyway, it's a wall hanging that is the Lord's Prayer, and then like at the bottom portion, and then at the top is a picture of Jesus praying with some flowers and everything. And my Finish It Friday project was to have the word portion done, so just, you know, just the Lord's Prayer done. And I sat for like, I'm trying to think exactly how long it was. I think it was like maybe 11 hours. And I got it done. Not the entire thing, just the word portion, just the Lord's Prayer from Our Father all the way down to Amen. I got it done, and it was like, oh, my hands hurt. But anyway, the reason for the little red dots is because the way I work my filet crochet, and you see them on my fingers and on my fingernail, I work so much, and then I take a red pen and I just scribble out what I wrote down. I work so much, scribble it out, work so much, scribble it out. And after doing it for so long, I was covered, you can see more right there, I was covered in little red dots from my red ink pen, and it will not come off. I've showered, I've used fingernail polish remover, I've used rubbing alcohol. I cannot get these little red dots off of me. Anyway, so okay, let's see how that looks. I'm going to line up the best I can. My round 1. Yeah, I can work another round. I'm going to go ahead and work. So that was round 11 that I just worked. This would, or I'm sorry, that was round 8. This would be round 9, right? Let's check. So I can see, here's where round 2 starts, and that's not where I want to count. Make sure the beginning of my round is away from me. So I'm going to go away from round 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now I'm going to work round 9. But for those of you that don't know, if you check out my channel, I have a little series where every Friday I show a project that I've finished, and then we draw from a little container that I have a new project, and I have to have it. I don't have to. I shouldn't have said that. The goal is to have it done by next Friday, but there's no obligation. If I don't, it's not a big deal. But I really, really wanted to get that done. And I did. I could not believe I got it done. But anyway, so on my channel, I have that little series, and I like it. It's fun. Well, I'm trying to think how to word this. A normal crocheter, you know, crocheting something and completing it and gifting it or keeping it for yourself, whatever makes you happy. When you crochet something and you get that sense of completion, or you get that sense of, I I don't know the word that I'm going for. Whatever the feeling you get when you gift what you've made or you finish it for yourself or what have you. You don't necessarily get that all the time when you crochet something as a YouTuber. So this Finish It Friday series really helps, you know, keep my Crojo from running off. All right, line it up again. Ooh. I'm going to say that is right on the edge. I don't want that to be any bigger. All right, that is done. So I'm going to slip stitch to my first single, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. Pull that out. Now when I pull my tail, I'm going to pull it to the inside so it tightens that slip stitch down towards the inside of the egg and it's less visible. Okay, I am actually going to weave in my ends. I'm not going to just glue them in there. So while I'm weaving in these ends, I'm going to turn on my hot glue gun, and then I'm not going to do, you know, the best job. I'm just going to go straight through some stitches. Man. Okay, I wanted to get to the second to last row of singles and call that good. Okay, this one. And I'm just thinking while I'm weaving in these ends, I didn't show you guys if you wanted to make the egg with the little different colored edge. All you have to do is just at that last round, whichever it is for you, if you needed to add around or not add around, the last round that you work, where's my legs here? Just instead of working it in the color that you're currently working, just into the first single crochet of the round, just fasten off, add your new color, and then just work one single crochet around and then weave in, you know, then chain 1, or I'm sorry, slip stitch, chain 1, and then weave in your ends. Okay. Oh, these are so cute. All right, so when I hot glue these to my egg, can you see my 2 slip stitch ends right here? I don't purposely, you know, make it 100%, but I try my best to line those up just like that on the little nub on the back of your egg. So I would put this like that, and then the bottom come right up to it, just like that. Oh, I about threw that one. Okay. I am going to pause my video and get my hot glue gun closer to me. Get everything out of the way. I love these little chicks. All right, I will be right back. Okay, before we hot glue that on there, I just realized, and I want to apologize, I forgot to mention this little tie. All you have to do is, for me, my tension and the length I needed for my little tie, I chained 35 and then cut my tail, weave it in and out of the final row of stitches, same point on each side, and then just tied it in a knot. And then I weaved my ends as best as I could, but it didn't work out the greatest, so I think you guys could probably do better. Anyway, sorry about that. I wish I didn't even think about it. But we are going to hot glue this guy, and I'm just giving my stitches a little stretch. And like I said, I want to make sure the little nub stays to the side of my slip stitch. All right, so I'm going to take this, take my hot glue, and I'm going to come around the inside like that, and then come down a little bit more. And the thing about this is once that hot glue touches the plastic, it like instantly dries. So I'm going to go as quick as I can and go right where I need it to, just like that. Whew, good. So now I'm going to close my egg, and I can tell that my stitches aren't going to get in the way of my egg closing. I could have done a little bit better, but I'm happy with it. All right, now the bottom, and again, I'm just going to come around. I try to avoid the bottom right here, only because these little holes, and then the yarn or the hot glue will go through these tighter stitches that are closer to round one. And I don't know, I just would rather that not happen. So I just come up a little bit and come up a little bit again. All right, where's my little nub? There we go. Good deal. And there is our egg. So I'm going to let that cool, and I don't have any hot glue coming out my bottom or around the edge anywhere. None coming out the top or around the sides. Ta-da! Oh, I threw him. Pop him in there. Close it. Happy Easter. Okay, so I'm going to let him cool, and I will get my little area cleaned up, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and this has significantly cooled down. But there you go. Ta-da! So I wanted to originally put a little bit of Easter grass in there. I could use tail ends. Like just take yarn, just kind of ball it up. That would be cute. And a friend of mine told me to use, come on now. What's the paper you put inside gift bags? Tissue paper, and just tear it up and put inside there so he has a little nest, and then you can close it. But I don't have that much tissue paper, and I thought, man, I really don't want to shred up a bunch of tissue paper. So but I thought about putting some Easter candy in there, and then I know whenever we were growing up, we always got a little bit of money, like, and I'm not talking like $100, I'm talking like quarters and $1 and here and there, but you could put that in there. And there you go. I hope you guys enjoy. This was a lot of fun to make. These little projects make me so happy. And I hope whoever you make them for, it makes them super happy. But anyway, that is it. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And in the description box, there are links down there to all of the social media platforms. And then there's a link to my email. If you make these, please, 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 please share it with me, the picture, email it with me, share it on my Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever whatever platform you like to use. Or like I said, you could just email it to me. I would love to see these, to see you guys, or anything that any tutorial that I've made that, you know, you follow and you make too, please share with me, because that makes me so happy to see that. It makes me feel like I'm doing this for a reason. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.